You're listening to Combat Radio with Ethan Dettenmeyer, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Yes! All right, time to get things started, and with us is the usual cast of outlaws, starting with Mark Bumblebee Ryan of Transformers, Robin Hood, and a bunch of... Yeah, shit, just Google the dude.
Google
him.
Good morning,
yes,
world. How are you, world?
He's here. And then another one of our favorite Combat Radio veterans, Peter Shinkoda of Falling Skies, Mortal Kombat War, Paycheck, a bunch of stuff. And then we actually have a... Yeah, you're welcome, man. How are you? Obviously, fresh off another all-night bender.
Wow.
Wait, I'm getting a tweet here from Cafe Jalisco.
I was just going to say you look very relaxed and
Cafe Jalisco wants their restroom key back.
Peter and I do our own stunts, and he's also my stand-in, and I'm also his stand-in.
And in case you're wondering who that is, that's a good friend of ours who's also part of the cast of Falling Skies, and he did, what is it, Saw 3, Saw 4, Saw...
Oh, my goodness. We did Saw 3. We did Blindness. I did Get Rich or Die Trying, Four Brothers, Haven.
We'll come back to
Salton
when you've done a few
Sea,
movies,
the
right?
Salton Sea. Much love. Salton Sea. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a great one.
Shout out Val Kilmer, DJ Caruso, Peter Sarsgaard.
Combat Radio.
Deborah Cara
Combat
Unger.
Radio in there. You're gonna work.
Shout the hell out to Combat Radio.
Loving you.
Miss Loda, how you doing?
Awesome. Thank you for that.
What's up,
Thank you for
Loda?
that. She's doing much better. She's
Wonderful.
She's personality-wise, she's fantastic. She's still a little bit slow with some things, but she's coming off. I mean, 8 days in the hospital will do that to anybody.
Miss Loda, get better.
But she's missed.
I bet she looked pretty hot in the bed, too, though, because she always looks good.
She's
That's
a
a black woman,
lady.
man. It's a black woman. What can I say?
Yeah, you know, hey.
What can I say? I come from one.
It didn't take long, did it, to get the entire show off at a completely different time? It didn't take long.
Mpho, now,
Yes, sir. Yes,
now
sir.
your last name,
Yes, sir.
which is pronounced Koaho.
Koaho.
Now that's South African?
It's South African, yes, sir.
Are you from South Africa?
I was born in Toronto, Canada, beautiful Toronto. Both of my parents are from South Africa. My mother's from Alexandra Township, Johannesburg.
Wow. Nice.
My
Well, let me know.
father's from Durban.
There's actually a Combat Radio South African fan
Really?
club on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
Really?
I'm going to like it. I'll make sure I
You
like it.
should like it. I mean, I can't understand what they're saying, obviously,
Right.
but they cover the show pretty closely. Yeah, it's like that weird
type of stuff.
I was gonna mail them a bunch of Coke bottles. Like,
Right.
Supposed to be crazy.
Oh, well, good thing they didn't send you vuvuzelas, huh?
Well, in that case, we've got to shout out to a charity down there. One of my pals, Michael, he's the South African rugby coach, and they do a whole rugby charity for kids in schools, you know, in various places out in the bush there in Swaziland.
That's great.
And, you know, to get the kids, again, involved with sports and stuff, so they're getting, you know, exposed to different stuff. Yeah, it's
That
great.
rugby team, they
Constant.
love that team out there. That team is beloved by the people.
Yeah.
For sure.
Honestly,
Big
I wasn't a huge fan of the Clint Eastwood film, even though we had the editor Joel
Invictus,
Cox on the show. I liked it. I didn't love it, but there is a 30 by 30 documentary on ESPN on the same case called The 16th Man.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Really?
One of the best, most passionate documentaries I've ever seen, and it's just so it's enthralling.
I'm gonna check it out.
It's really does an excellent job of putting the viewer, the non-rugby fan, in the place of the people and what it meant to make that kind of achievement, you know, and how it brought people together. And honestly, you know, hats off to Nelson Mandela.
Cheers, man.
I mean, if a guy is a great example of tolerance and wisdom, you know, he's the best. I mean, I loved how the film actually portrayed his part of his time in prison.
Well, to be fair, I haven't seen the film yet, so and I probably would have a great deal of things to say on Mr. Freeman's performance and all that kind of stuff. But just to speak on Mandela, Madiba, as they call him back home, I have the utmost respect for him and everything that he's done for our people. You know, it's thankless. You know, and the history in itself. You know, he was a lawyer. You know, beforehand, a great lawyer, and he led the African National Congress, the ANC, and just based off of him just being for the people, they jailed him. It's literally for no reason. Sit in jail 27 years, and then you literally bring a country out of nothing, sitting in jail for 27 years, if that was ever possible. So, and he continues to do so much at the age of, 91?
Yeah.
You know, it's an old man, and sitting in his home, he still affects the country. Such a great deal, the entire continent.
Well, it was great to see the World Cup go there.
Yeah.
Last time around.
Have you ever been to Africa?
You want to hear something crazy? I've never been able to go.
What? You're out of here.
Dude, I could never afford to go home before. It's a few years back. I can never afford
We
it.
need to start a Kickstarter to get you some travel money.
Well, now,
What's it, Calling Skies
well,
paying
now,
you or what?
now I think I could put together a couple bucks, but then like the schedules is nuts right now. I got to be in Vancouver 5 months out of the year.
Well,
then
when
I
does
gotta
that start back
go
up?
home for 2 months. It's like I feel like I got half of what you doing.
You got to go, and I'll tell you why you got to go. I was down there in the 70s in various countries, Zambia being one of them, and there is such a direct connection to life with such simple, people live literally. Some people live in real poverty, but they are so full of generosity and life.
I've seen District 9, bro. I know how it is down there.
It's incredible.
I seen it too.
There's a direct, it's like no other place I've been to on the face of the earth.
I speak outside of Western culture. I always speak to, Africans and most if I'd say take away Europe, take North America out of that, and most cultures outside of there are rooted in tradition. Whether or not they have money, whether or not they don't, I always feel like if you can go to those places, and if you don't have anything, people to feed you. If you don't have anywhere to live, people give you somewhere to live. That's the feeling of Africa that I have. That's the feeling of my people that I have. The struggle, but never losing sight of who you are and what's important in life. Do you know what I mean?
And you get the feeling that it really is the cradle of humanity. Every human being comes from
there. Yeah.
That red earth.
It's weird too because not everybody knows that, and not everybody would accept that.
No, and that is,
and that's a whole nother.
That's a whole other
bottle of
conversation.
Stuff.
Yeah,
but I very much agree with what you're saying.
Right.
You're listening to Combat Radio with Ethan Dettenmeyer, right here on LA Talk Radio.